Now we are going to talk about the motion in a straight line. Motion is the change in position within an interval of time. Linear motion is motion in a straight line. So this is the simplest form of motion, and we are studying the linear motion or the motion in a straight line in one direction in order to study the properties of this motion. When we say that the body at rest is body that doesn't change its position, doesn't move simply as the time passes. Okay, we have two types of motion: translator motion and periodic motion. Translator motion is the motion that has a start and end point, but the periodic motion is the motion that repeated in equal periods of time or equal intervals of time. From the examples of translator motion, motion in a straight line or curved path, like the train or projectiles. From the examples of periodic motion, the motion in a circle or vibration motion, or motion of the moon around the earth. Okay, now we have some pictures to illustrate the types of motion. This is the vibration motion, a periodic motion, and this is the motion of moon around the earth or earth around the sun. So this is called circular motion. The motion in a straight line, like throwing a ball or throwing an object, called projectiles, something thrown up and left to fall a distance from the starting point. Now, motion of cars in curved path considered as translator or periodic motion. That will be translator motion. But the motion of planets around the sun considered as periodic motion. Okay, now let's see some notes that is important in physics. The first remark is delta. This symbol, the triangle, represent a word called delta, and it means the change, means the final physical quantity minus initial physical quantity. For example, if we have an object move with a specific velocity, it started with the slow velocity and the velocity increases by the time speeding up. So the final velocity minus initial velocity called the change in velocity, and represented by delta. Delta V equal V final minus V initial. We can write it as following: we have here the symbol of delta, the triangle, delta V representing the speed, equals V final, written like that, Vf minus 2 V initial, the initial velocity, Vi. Okay, that's it. So this was the first remark, that the word delta means the change, means the subtraction, means the increase or the difference. Change in velocity means final velocity minus initial velocity, and represented by equation like this. Okay, now what about the rate of? The word rate of means with certain time, within certain time, mathematically represented by rate of change of something, means this thing over the time. If we said that velocity is rate of a change of displacement, this means it is the change of displacement within certain time. So the velocity equals delta d over delta t. Okay, rate of change of something means this thing or this physical quantity over the time. So D represents displacement and T represents time. The unit of velocity is meter per second. Meter per second. Written like that, okay? And the definition of velocity from here is the rate of a change of displacement. Rate of a change of displacement, and we studied displacement before. Okay, what's meant by the velocity of car 5 meter per second? This means that the car make a displacement 5 meter each 1 second. Now we're going to compare between the speed and velocity, both of them having the same symbol, both of them have are represented by V in physics. Speed is a rate of a change of distance. Velocity, rate of a change of displacement. The speed is a scalar quantity, need only magnitude. But velocity is a vector physical quantity, needs magnitude and direction to be expressed. Simply, the velocity is a speed but with a direction. The speed is always positive. Velocity can be positive or negative according to the direction. If you have a moving body in a direction, so the magnitude will be with positive. And when we say that this object moved in the opposite direction, this means the velocity will be with negative sign. For example, of a speed, a car move with speed 80 km per hour. When we say a car moves with velocity 80 km per hour, we have to put a direction, north direction, for example. Okay, great.